SynthStories starts right now.
Am I the a-hole for texting my husband I wanted a divorce while in my affair partner's bed, only to find out he'd already filed and I lost everything? I sent my husband a text saying I was leaving him for my boss while sitting in my boss's bed, and 30 seconds later my entire world collapsed. We'd been married 8 years. Together for 12. The kind of couple everyone said would last forever. But somewhere along the way, I got bored. Started working late. Started wearing nicer clothes to the office. Started texting my boss about things that had nothing to do with quarterly reports. "You deserve someone who appreciates you," my boss would say during our lunch meetings. "Someone who sees how brilliant you are." My husband worked construction. Came home dirty. Fell asleep watching TV. Never noticed my new perfume or the lingerie I bought but never wore for him. My boss noticed everything. Complimented my presentations. My ideas. The way I laughed at his jokes. The affair started 3 months ago. Hotel rooms during fake client dinners. His apartment when his wife traveled for her job. He promised me everything. Said he was getting divorced. Said we'd run the company together. Said his wife meant nothing. Last week, he took me to his cabin upstate. Wine by the fireplace. Plans for our future. He showed me the divorce papers he'd supposedly filed. "Once this is final, we can stop hiding," he said. "I'll announce it at the company party. Everyone will know you're mine." I believed him. God, I was so stupid. That night at the cabin, I felt brave. Invincible. I grabbed my phone and typed out the message to my husband, "I'm done pretending. I'm with someone who actually values me. I want a divorce. My lawyer will contact you next week." His response came immediately, "Already filed. Check your email." My hands shook as I opened it. Divorce petition. Filed 2 weeks ago. Adultery as grounds. Photos attached. Me and my boss entering hotels. Leaving his apartment. The cabin reservation in his name with my car in the driveway. Then I saw the prenup clause I'd forgotten about. The one his mother insisted on. Infidelity meant I got nothing. Not the house. Not the investments. Not even my car, which was in his name. I called him. He didn't answer. Called again. Nothing. My boss was in the shower. I sat there, staring at my phone, trying to understand how my husband knew. Then another email came through. From my husband's lawyer. Security footage from our home office. Me on video calls with my boss. Me deleting texts. Me lying about client dinners. "Your client has been aware of the affair for 2 months," the email read. "He hired our firm to ensure protection of his assets. Please have your attorney contact us to proceed." When my boss came out of the bathroom, I showed him everything. His face went white. "We need to be careful about this," he said. But he was already backing away. Already making excuses. "What about your divorce?" I asked. He couldn't look at me. "I need to think about the company. My reputation. Maybe we should cool things down until this settles." I went home that night to an empty house. My husband had moved out. Taken his things. Left mine. The prenup was on the kitchen counter with sticky notes marking where I'd signed away my rights. My boss didn't text that night. Or the next day. When I went to work Monday, HR was waiting. They'd received an anonymous complaint about inappropriate conduct between a supervisor and subordinate. My boss threw me under the bus. Said I'd pursued him. Said he tried to maintain boundaries. said he was committed to his marriage. I was suspended pending investigation. 2 days later, my boss blocked my number. His wife called me. Turns out those divorce papers were fake. She'd never heard of me until my husband sent her the evidence of her husband's latest affair. I wasn't even his first. The story hit our social circles fast. My husband, the quiet construction worker everyone overlooked, had played this perfectly. Patient. Strategic. He documented everything while I thought I was being clever. My family found out when my mother got a package. Photos. Texts. Everything. She called me sobbing. Asked how I could do this. How I could throw away a good man for what? A corner office? A company credit card? He loved you, she said. And you destroyed him for someone who won't even acknowledge you exist. My sister won't speak to me. Says I got what I deserved. My friends are split. Some say he violated my privacy. Others say I violated my vows. The divorce will be final in 2 months. I'll get my clothes, my personal items, the debt from my student loans. Nothing else. My boss kept his wife, his job, his reputation. Claimed I was unstable. Obsessed. The company believed him. My husband started dating someone new last week. A teacher from his nephew's school. Sweet. Pretty. Someone who posts pictures of their hiking dates and cooking dinner together. Someone who comments on how lucky she is. I'm staying with a coworker who feels bad for me. Sending out resumes. Trying to rebuild. Everyone asks the same question when they hear the story. How could I be so stupid? How could I throw away everything for someone who threw me away the second it got complicated? But the worst part? The thing that keeps me awake at night? My husband's final text to me. Sent after I'd been served, after I'd lost my job, after my family turned their backs. I would have forgiven you, he wrote. If you'd just come home that night instead of sending that text, I would have tried to fix us. So I guess my question is, do I even have the right to feel betrayed when I was the one who betrayed him first?
Am I the a-hole for still being friends with someone after her divorce even though my husband says it makes me a cheater too? Throwaway account. So my husband and I used to hang out with this couple, I'll call them Josh, husband, and Zia, wife, fake name. We all knew each other well, double dates, BBQs, game nights, the usual. A few months back, Josh and Zia divorced. The reason everyone thinks they split is because Zia allegedly cheated. The thing is, neither Josh nor Zia ever actually confirmed it. Josh just started hinting to everyone that she had someone else, and when people saw that Zia was spending a lot of time with a male coworker Marcus, fake name, everyone jumped to conclusions. They'd go out places, sometimes longer than expected, and Josh basically decided that was proof of an affair. Meanwhile, Zia told me a very different story. According to her, she and Josh had already been unhappy for a while, and things were falling apart regardless. Getting close to Marcus, who became basically her best friend, sealed the deal because Josh saw it as betrayal. Here's what almost no one knows: Marcus has a boyfriend. I know them both because I've hung out with them. But at work, Marcus is still in the closet, at least for now. He and his boyfriend just moved here, and he decided to give it at least a year before being open, just to see how he likes the job and to avoid dealing with homophobic comments before he's even settled. His boyfriend agrees with that plan. Marcus only even told me because he'd heard through the grapevine that I'm an ally and could be trusted. So in other words, my husband and Josh's evidence of Zia cheating is that she hangs out with her gay best friend who isn't out at work. Anyway, once the divorce happened, all of our mutual friends cut Zia off. They didn't ask questions, they just heard Zia plus cheating, and that was the end of it. Suddenly, I was the only person still talking to her. To me, she looked devastated, isolated, and like she just needed at least one person to not treat her like she's trash. So I stayed friends with her. Well, my husband found out, and he flipped. He's really close with Josh, so he sees it as a betrayal of him. He accused me of being one of those women who excuses female cheaters because only men are the bad ones. That cut deep, especially because he brought my younger sister into it. My younger sister just recently got out of an extremely abusive relationship. It started normal, then turned into love bombing, then emotional and financial abuse, and eventually physical. On top of all that, he coerced her into one-sided sex constantly, manipulating her by saying things like, "It makes me feel better," whenever she resisted. She barely got out of that hellhole alive, but now she's in therapy, has her own apartment, and is rebuilding her life. My husband had the nerve to say she would be disappointed in me for staying friends with Zia. He didn't stop there either. He said things like, "If you defend cheaters, you probably are one. You're spitting on your sister's recovery by siding with Zia. Don't come crying to me when she screws you over, because cheaters always do. If you can be friends with her, what does that say about you as a wife?" I admit, I snapped back. I called him judgmental, closed-minded, and cruel for isolating someone without evidence. I might have thrown in a few digs about how he doesn't know Marcus like I do, so he's basically just repeating gossip. But I didn't say anything near the level of what he said to me. Now things are tense. Josh acts like we're not friends anymore. He won't even say hi to me if we run into each other, while he's still buddy-buddy with my husband. So it feels like I'm the odd one out of the group, and my husband is punishing me for not falling in line. For some context about me, I'm the middle child of 4 kids. I have an older brother, an older sister, and then my younger sister, the one who survived the abusive relationship. Growing up in the middle, I've always been the peacekeeper and the one who tries to look at situations from all sides. That probably explains why I didn't immediately drop Zia when everyone else did. Here's where I might be the a-hole. I don't know for sure if Zia didn't cheat though. I don't have proof either way. All I know is that Marcus is in a relationship, and from what I've seen, Zia and him just look like really close friends, but again I don't know if Marcus is bisexual or pansexual instead of being gay. All I know is he's in a relationship. But my husband thinks the fact that I'm even giving her the benefit of the doubt is disgusting. He says loyalty means cutting ties, no questions asked. So what's my verdict? AITA for staying friends with Zia when the rest of our circle has basically abandoned her?
I told on my mom's married boyfriend and ruined my life. My mother started having an affair with a married man, Bruce, over 10 years ago. My dad left her over it, but she stayed with Bruce with the promise of him divorcing his wife soon. Spoiler alert, it never happened. After 10+ years of knowing my mother was the other woman and after stalking Bruce's wife's socials, I couldn't take it anymore. He's a creepy man that no one in my family can stand, including my 3 other siblings. We've been tasked all these years to keep her dirty secret and treat Bruce as if he's not an adulterer. I took one for the team and sent some anonymous emails out to some contacts I found through social media. Bruce's wife responded to me and asked to speak as she had no idea any of this was going on, which I highly suspected despite Bruce's lies all these years, so I sat down and phoned her. We talked for almost 3 hours. She's a nice woman who was nothing but kind to me. She's been married to Bruce for 30 years and had no idea he had a double life. His job allows him to travel frequently. I answered all her questions during this conversation, though I knew my relationship with my mother was over. I knew the details would get back to her and would pinpoint to me. Bruce's wife thanked me over and over and shared she would be divorcing Bruce once she got her finances in order. It was a very emotional conversation, and I'll never forget the sound of her cries as I told her all the details. The next day I was completely cut off from my mother, I had no way of contacting her, and shortly after that, the harassment of members of my family came flooding in. Messages of disgust towards me and support towards my mother. Everyone turned on me and will no longer speak to me. I can't imagine she's telling them the truth of what I told on her married boyfriend. I'm shocked my family has chosen her side and abandoned me. Sometimes regret washes over me, but in the end, all I did was speed up the inevitable. And I did it for my siblings who couldn't stand his presence anymore. I thought it would get rid of him, but it backfired. Not only are Bruce and my mother getting married, my siblings chose her side and have cut me off. This weighs heavy on my chest. It did for the last 10 years, and now because of what I did, it will continue. Thanks for reading and letting me get it out. Edit. Thank you to all the supportive comments. I have a few people in my corner rooting for me, but these comments have been comforting and therapeutic. The number of family that turned on me, I truly started to worry I was the problem and made a mistake. To answer some questions, money is a huge factor in all of this, which is why my mother/siblings are so angry and not thanking me. I am my mother's oldest daughter. Only my youngest sibling lives with her. We are all adults. I have 2 young children my mother has thrown to the curb for Bruce. They will never know who she is. I am in contact with the wife. She is a lovely woman who is aware of how this all unfolded and has been so kind to me. I like to think in another life we would be friends. I've spent a lot of time putting together proof for her so she can get what she deserves out of the divorce. Keeping in touch with the wife angered Bruce and my mother so much, so they told my family I was harassing the wife. That fueled the fire more for my family to hate me. To the few that have commented I should have minded my own business, I wish this never was my business. What a laugh. Date. It has been 18 months since I blew my family life up by tattling on my mother for being the other woman for 12 plus years. 18 months of a smear campaign against me that has turned all of my family, except one sister and close family friends, against me. Even my grandparents who basically raised me. Bruce's wife and I still keep in touch every few months. She has gone through way worse than I have. Her life was a lie and she struggles daily to comprehend everything that has happened. I feel so much shame that my mother is half responsible for this woman's heartbreak. She still has been nothing but kind to me. The big question that remained unanswered for 18 months, why did my family alienate me? What lie did my mother and Bruce tell that made them not even give me a chance to speak? The truth is that I told on my mom's married boyfriend and blew up their vacation mode relationship. But we all know that couldn't be what she was telling people. Every night I would lay awake wondering what it was that was said about me. And I finally got the answer a year and a half later. My mother told everyone that I was a drug addict, that I was affected cognitively from drug use. None of you know me, but I am not a drug addict. My family believed that lie without question, because who would lie on their own child like that? She had to say a lie so far from the truth that no one would question her. So there it is. The damage is done from all ends. My family thinks I'm a drug addict, and I'll never forgive my family for believing that and turning on me. I pled with so many of them. I sent them the entire story from start to finish. And no one broke and came to my side. I will never forgive my mother. So much has happened these past 18 months, and it's all her fault. She almost broke me, but thankfully I have an amazing family of my own I created, a husband and 2 daughters and amazing in-laws. My sister and I have never been closer. We are healing together. The only thing I wish now is for my mother to stop smearing me. My husband deployed for 6 months, and she actively lied on me to people that would come and help me during that time to try to isolate me further. There is no limit to her mental torment. My mother will always be my biggest bully. Going no contact with a narc parent is so hard. Don't let any old hag out there tell you it's their first time living too. It's your parent at the end of the day. I am her child. And she chose an ugly balding man over me and 2 amazing granddaughters. Will always be her loss. Thanks again for letting me get it off my chest.
Am I the a-hole for insisting my best friend be at my wedding even though my fiancée doesn't want him there? Would appreciate any advice. So, for context, I am 31 male and getting married next summer to my fiancée, 29 female, as we've been together 6 years and got engaged in the beginning of this year, on the 1st of January, for good luck lol. For my side of the wedding party, I had many friends and cousins as groomsmen and asked my best friend, 32 male, of 15 plus years to be my best man as we've been close since middle school and he's literally family to me. Genuinely had always been the person to show up for me consistently, even when I didn't deserve it, and I had always wanted him by me during my wedding. The issue is that about 3 years ago, my fiancée and I went through a really rough patch. Without oversharing too much, I was dealing with serious burnout and depression and started pulling away from everyone, including her. At one point, I told her I wasn't sure if our relationship was going to make it and I moved out for a couple weeks to clear my head. During that time, I stayed with my best friend. Thankfully for me, he didn't take sides but listened and helped me get into therapy, all while giving me space. He never told me to leave my fiancée, never trashed her, never inserted himself, this is key here. He literally just supported me. When I got my head on straight, her and I started couples counseling, and we fought through our problems, which it worked clearly as I proposed earlier this year. But when I told my fiancée that I wanted him as my best man, she went quiet and said she didn't want him at the wedding at all. I was completely caught off guard, and even that isn't saying enough, but asked why, and she explained that he was someone that wanted to break us apart back when we were struggling and she wouldn't allow someone like that at our wedding. I literally tried to explain again and again that he never encouraged me to leave but that he just gave me space when I really needed it. She said while she knows that rationally, emotionally, she still connects him with the worst period of our relationship. Also saying that he represents the version of me who almost gave up on her. I told her I understood why that would feel complicated, but that he has been in my life for over 15 years. He was there for me long before I met her, and that honestly, he's part of why I was able to come back and be a better partner. I told her I wasn't willing to cut him out of my wedding, but that I could consider making him a groomsman and leaving best man to my dad, for example. But the compromise didn't work then and isn't working now whenever I'm bringing it up. She's saying that if I loved her, then I'd understand how much this hurts her and stop it in a heartbeat, and I said if she trusted me, then she'd know that he isn't a threat. We've barely spoken properly since, and she hasn't been cold, but has seemed upset and distant, which honestly feels worse, because I'd prefer if she was straight up mad at me instead of hurting quietly. I love her dearly and my heart literally feels like it's bursting seeing her like this, but I have no idea how to fix it. I know rationally I should take him out to make her happy, but this is the biggest day of my life too, and I'd be shattered not having him there with me. It's also fucking haunting me having to imagine telling him he can't come. Like what? Fuck no. I don't know, but I need to know if I'm wrong. Please do consider my side, but any other views are appreciated. Edit. Remembering more as I read some comments. She has implied cheating on my part, acting as if me and my best friend are anything more than just best friends, which I've snipped very quickly.
Am I the a-hole for wanting nothing to do with my kids and ex-wife after 2 years of false allegations? Hold on, because this is a doozy. I'm going to omit some details to help keep myself from getting doxxed about this whole thing. Last year my kids, 9 female and 7 male, ran away late at night/early in the morning. When found by some city officials, they claimed I kicked them out of the house. I woke up the morning of to the cops and CPS knocking on the door. I told my side of the story from what I knew, and they had my, now ex-wife, tell her side while keeping us separated. The cops claim our stories don't match and end up arresting me. I bail myself out that same day and go live with my parents for a while. I'm dealing with court, scared that I'm going back to jail or prison and that I'll lose my job that I had only been at for a year. A little over a month goes by and I get a phone call to have a meeting with the CPS woman in charge of our case. My daughter ended up making more allegations against me that did not make any sense to the CPS people, and when they asked her questions, she was unable to give them answers. My son ended up breaking first and admitting the whole thing was made up and that my daughter was the one to orchestrate everything. This reveal led to the charges being dropped and my daughter getting counseling and psychiatric help. For a while I thought things were good. We were on our way to fix things. I kept trying to get all of us into therapy, both individually and family. I was already in therapy due to this whole situation anyway. My ex kept dragging her feet and it never went anywhere. After some other situations with being displaced due to a natural disaster and me trying to get things packed up in our old apartment, I get told by my ex she wants a divorce, so now I'm having to rush and try to find a place to live, which I did luckily. I actually move in tomorrow. On the 14th of June I get served an emergency protection order by the county sheriff's office. I'm told it's because I allegedly hit my son and gave him a concussion while in the grocery store, where there are cameras. He had been taken to the emergency room by my ex on the 14th, but this event allegedly happened on the 10th. I had told my ex that due to me having to get this house to rent, along with utilities in my name, adding up to over $2,000, that I wasn't going to be able to pay certain bills this month, but that I'll get them caught up as soon as I can to get everything paid off and even. I signed for the deposit on the 11th and the kids had been with her while I did this paperwork and there was no issue. On the same morning I had taken my kids to the park so they could play and recorded videos of them being silly and having fun. I was talking to my therapist this week and I told her what was going on and how I felt about being around my ex or the children. It's 2 years in a row of false allegations. I want nothing to do with any of them now. I'll pay child support gladly. I had an agreement with my ex before this all happened of paying $1,000 a month, $500 per paycheck, for child support. After all of this, am I the a-hole for not wanting to be around the children and my ex after everything gets settled and found out to be lies again? Update 1. So I have an update, along with answering some questions better from my previous post. When I first posted this I was not in a good headspace and I realized that I wasn't very clear. To be honest, I'm still not in a good headspace, but it's a little bit better. For starters, these false allegations started last year when my kids were 9 and 7. When I said 2 years I meant calendar years. When I said I spoke to the police about my side of the story last year, I meant what happened the night before the police and CPS showed up at the front door. I had gotten home, spent some time with the kids and my ex, then wife, before giving the kids their melatonin gummies. This was done on an as-needed basis, mainly 2 to 3 times a week at most. After that I went and took a shower, made myself some dinner, then ate and cleaned up the kitchen before spending more time with my then wife before we both went to bed. Due to a contraction happening when she was being given the epidural, she sleeps better propped up, so she slept on the couch while myself and the kids slept upstairs. The next morning is when I woke up to the cops at the door with CPS. I was charged with child abandonment and arrested. It took over a month for the truth to come out about my kids making this up due to the fact my daughter was saying I was having sex with her. The CPS agent conducting the investigation tried to ask more details, and that's when my daughter started crying and admitted she made it up because she couldn't give details. The only reason my daughter even knew what sex was is because my ex and I were in the bedroom and we both thought the other locked the door and my daughter walked in on us. Moving to now, I don't know how my son got this supposed concussion. We had court again on Monday, the 21st, and when the judge asked her she told him that, after talking with the state trooper, we have decided to not press criminal charges. I asked the judge if there was any evidence that they had about what they're claiming I did, and he told me that since no charges were filed, there's no evidence gathered to give to me. I want to thank everyone for their answers on my last post. Thinking about those feelings was making me sick to my stomach, and I just needed some perspectives from people who weren't emotionally involved. I thought about this since last month and I made the decision to tell the judge I want the divorce process and this EPO to be over and done with and that I just want to be left alone. I'm still questioning if this was the right decision or not. I'm just not sure what else I could do. I work 12-hour days 5 to 6 days a week. I have no way to take care of the kids, so I can't take them in. Even then, am I supposed to get to the point where the court system says supervised visits aren't needed anymore and just start wearing a body camera around the kids and just be scared all the time? Looking over my shoulder constantly just to make sure that I'm not going to end up in jail again? We have a hearing set up for December to hopefully get everything finalized and finished. I keep thinking about the kids going trick-or-treating in 3 months, going back to school next month, how we won't be decorating Christmas trees together or making cookies for Santa, and I start crying all over again. I'm not sure what else I could have done though that wouldn't have made me a paranoid mess 24/7. This will be the last update until December or January, I guess. Thank you again for everyone saying I wasn't an asshole for feeling this way. Have a good one, Reddit. Update 2. So this is a really small update that I wasn't expecting to make. I had left a voicemail for the CPS agent assigned to the current situation with my son asking for an update on everything because I haven't heard anything since June. She had to look in her case notes, but everything has been found to be unsubstantiated. I should be getting the official paperwork in a few days to a week in the mail. I'm not sure how to feel about this, honestly. I'm relieved that the truth has come out about these allegations, angry that this has happened to me twice now, happy that this is one step closer to being finished. I want to cry, but I couldn't tell you the specific emotion that's causing it. I'm taking some other Redditors' words to heart and putting in a request to my state police records department to get copies of any and all paperwork, evidence, or lack thereof, anything I can get my hands on from them. I'm also getting copies of my son's medical records so I can see exactly what was found back in June. I know a lot of you don't believe this, and I don't care. I have nothing to gain from lying about this. I'll gladly post pictures of the paperwork from CPS when it comes in, with all private information redacted, of course, to protect myself and my children. I know some of the details don't make sense between the OG post and the update, but like I saw one person mention in our /best of Reddit updates, which I love to read posts from and didn't expect my own to end up there, I'm just going on survival mode. I only just got a full-sized fridge 2 days ago. I only have an air mattress for a bed. I'm just tired. I want this over with. I want things to go back to January when all I had to worry about was the fact I was recovering from a car wreck and couldn't even help take down the Christmas trees and get a new car. Update 3. So I didn't think I would be back with any sort of update until December, but here I am. First, I want to thank everyone for their comments, the ones who tell me I'm NTA for feeling this way, the ones who said this was fake AI bull, which got me laughing a bit, and for all the advice everyone's given me. Second, for the ones who DM'd me, I also want to say thank you for reaching out. I may not have answered, but I really appreciated reading the messages. After my last update, I tried looking for something to do on my days off of work. My first thought was the animal shelter nearby because it's not even a 5-minute drive from my house. Turns out it's closed on my days off. I looked around for neighboring counties and those were even less helpful. A lot of them required I attend some sort of orientation, but there's no set day of the week for the orientations. I know it would be good for my mental health in the long run, but in the short term taking a day off from work, potentially, to attend the orientation and making my paycheck smaller isn't helpful. So I decided to try dating. I wasn't going into this looking for anything serious, I was wanting to try some casual dates to just get out of the house and meet people. That's not what happened. I made a profile on a dating app and kinda just left it alone. One of the pictures I had put on there was of my cat. He's an orange cat presenting as a tuxedo cat. No brain cell whatsoever. I got a message and this woman was talking about how cute my cat was and how he matched one of hers. We talked about our cats for a while, then things got flirty and I asked her out on a date. I feel like it went well, since she stuck around anyway. We found out that there are so many similarities between what we like and our senses of humor that my friends think I found a female version of myself, which I think is funny because when she meets them that means they're screwed. After almost a month of us talking and going on the occasional date, I told her I had some things to tell her and then something to ask her. I was upfront with everything that happened last year and this year, showing her the paperwork that I had to show that I was innocent in all of this. After telling her all of this, I asked if she still wanted to stick around or if she wanted to walk away and not get dragged into any drama that she could get put through just because of us having a relationship. She hugged me, cried for me, which got me to start crying, and told me that she was sorry I had to go through something like that. Once the two of us stopped trying to flood my house from crying, more myself than her, I asked her if she wanted to make things official between us and she said yes. I was honestly so scared to tell her about what happened with my kids and ex. I was dead certain that once I told any prospective girlfriend this, they would walk away so that their own lives wouldn't get ruined. But she stayed, and I'm so incredibly grateful for that. We agreed to take it slow so that we don't rush into anything too quickly. I can't remember which of my posts it was on, and to be honest there's too many comments on them all to be able to find them, but a Redditor said that, essentially, they hope I find someone and can actually be happy after all of this drama with my ex-wife and kids. I want to thank them for saying that, because between them speaking it into existence and my cat being, well, him, it seems to have worked. I'm not back up to 100% though. I'm still scared that something else will happen that will somehow mess my life up even more. I'm scared of the cops showing up at my house with new allegations even though I haven't done anything. I'm scared of running into my ex or the kids in public just by going grocery shopping and somehow getting arrested over it. Every time I drive home and a sheriff, state police, or city police vehicle comes down towards me or drives by the house, I can feel my anxiety spike. I have cameras up that record my front door, back door, and where I park my car outside my house, and cameras inside that cover my front door and my back door. I have other means of showing my location on my phone and where I've traveled, if I've traveled at all that day. I keep any receipts from shopping or even grabbing something to eat while in town just so I have timestamps of where I've been and when I was there. It's a mess, but I'm doing what I can. I'm looking forward to learning more about my girlfriend that my dingus of a cat helped me meet. I'm looking forward to being able to not live in fear of police. I'm looking forward to being able to live and not just not die right now. Again, I want to thank everyone for their thoughts, advice, comments, everything. I'm still gathering paperwork and what evidence I can about all of this, and sadly I still don't have answers about why this has been happening. I don't know how my son got this supposed concussion. I don't know if my ex is coaching them. I don't know if someone is in their lives because of my ex that is causing all of this. I don't know if I'll get those answers, but right now I'm going to keep searching and fighting for myself until I either can't find anything else or I get answers.
Am I overreacting about my husband wanting me and the kids to leave so he can host 2 women guests? Am I overreacting about my husband wanting me and the kids to leave so he can host guests? I, 34 female, have been with my husband, 35 male, for 20 years, married for 8. We have 2 kids, 3 and 5. My husband teaches specialized workshops, and people travel from all over, sometimes overseas, to attend. He's built friendships with some of them through work and social media. He recently offered 2 attendees a place to stay at our home during an upcoming workshop. The thing is, our house is small, 3 bedrooms, and since he's usually exhausted after teaching, he asked if I could take the kids to my parents for the weekend so he can host them. The guests are both women around our age. One is married with a family. The other is single and traveling. I can't shake feeling uncomfortable about the whole arrangement. My husband at our home with 2 women there without me. For the record, I do trust my husband. He's never given me a reason to think he'd cheat, and we usually have a very open, honest relationship. But something about this just feels off to me. I don't want to bring it up and start an argument if I'm making a big deal out of nothing. Am I just being closed-minded here? Would you be okay with this situation? Or am I overreacting? Update. So this is actually happening right now. I wrote my original post while staying at my parents' with the kids. Just wanted to clarify a few things based on comments. Yes, the women know me. I've met them when they arrived. We hung out together before I left with the kids. They're both genuinely lovely, got along great with the kids, and honestly, if they lived closer, I could see them being part of our friend group. They've both been really thankful and appreciative about staying here. A few months ago, my husband offered for one of them to stay during the first stage of the workshop without asking me first. After I told him how I felt, he immediately apologized and admitted he shouldn't have done that. He was genuinely regretful. This time he consulted me before offering, but it felt more like an FYI than an actual conversation. I told him it came across that way, and he insisted he hadn't offered until I said yes. Still, it almost feels like because it happened once, now the precedent has been set and makes it hard for me to say no. That's just how it feels to me. To clarify, we both own the home and contribute equally. It's not his house. I truly don't believe cheating has even crossed his mind or that he's thinking about how this looks. He's just the type of person who always wants to help people. I think he sees it as 2 more people get to attend the workshop, which means more income for us, plus it helps his friends save money. After this weekend, I will talk with him about how this can't be a regular thing. I'll probably use the example of me inviting 2 male friends to stay while he and the kids leave, just to show how it feels on the other side. I really do hope I'm right about the cheating side of things and that I'm not being naive. He grew up watching the fallout of his mother's infidelity, so I honestly believe he'd never put me or our family through that. I plan on talking to him about how I feel, and I'm confident it will be fine once I voice it. We generally have a very respectful relationship.
He 32 male called me 34 female a narcissist because I set a boundary over something he considers trivial. My boyfriend 32 male and I 34 female have met 3 months ago and have only been a couple for 2 months, so we don't live together yet. Last time he came to visit, he did the dishes, but so bad I had to do it again. We met again yesterday, so I mentioned it, said it'd be great if he paid more attention while doing it. His excuse, I don't do dishes, I have a dishwasher at home. I said, okay, but that doesn't mean you can't do it right without the dishwasher. This morning we woke up late, at my place, he preferred to brunch instead of having breakfast. So I cooked, mind you I hate cooking, and he did them dishes. After a while, I went to help him by rinsing the dishes with clean water, but realized it was badly washed. I showed him gently, trying to be patient, and said, it's not cleaned, please pay attention. We continued, for him to hand me the last of the dishes, a huge pot, not cleaned at all. I looked at it, lost my cool and said, this isn't washed. He replied, I thought that's how the pot is supposed to look. I was flabbergasted. There was no way anyone wouldn't notice that pot was not clean. Plus, he had been the one to take the pot out, put water in it, before I started doing the cooking. He knew. So I snapped, tried so bad to contain myself, but I guess my tone betrayed how pissed I was. I can't tell if it's intentional or not, but I won't tolerate any weaponized incompetence. I prefer breaking up before any guy starts doing that shit to me. He froze, went back to the living room, stayed there staring in the void. Once I got done, I sat by his side, he kept quiet. So I broke the glass, calmly saying, you're mad about what I just said. He answered back, absent, describing how narcissistic it was to threaten leaving him like that he googled up the term, weaponized incompetence, and just knows that only a bad guy would do such things, as he would do it intentionally, contrary to him. So how could I imagine him doing that to me? He kept going, repeating the same excuse, he does no dishes at his. He has a dishwasher, yada yada. I asked him if all pots go to dishwasher at his, he said, sure yeah. You've seen how clean my dishes are at home, right? I told him that actually no, that what I had seen were pots sitting everywhere in the kitchen, all dirty, with dried food in them. I then asked him, if your job was to do them dishes, would you do it like you did few moments ago? I wouldn't change a thing, he replied. I gasped, apologized for the tone used, for snapping and not finding a better way to say things. However, I told him I wouldn't reconsider what I said. I told him that I shared my feelings because I cared, I wanted things to work between us, so I was trying to establish a boundary with a consequence, huge one but real and needed. I explained that if a man started throwing weaponized incompetence, voluntary or not, I'd prefer leaving the relationship, because that's unhealthy. He does have different issues but has promised he'd work on them and improve, such as house hygiene, pathological lying. So far, he had been making efforts, planning dates, asking how he can help and be there for me. Still, what he calls trivial is starting to make me lose interest because I don't want to become someone's second mama. And of course there's more to it, but I don't want to start a book here. Advices?